Welcome back, my dear students. So, on this lecture, what I want to show you is a couple things. First of all, I want to show you how to send different characters over emails. I know some of you, a percentage of you, are from different countries and you're going to be using different characters. So, when we are sending like different characters that are non-English characters, we need to set our document type to something that our programs can understand. So for example, there is many different types of document, but one of the most common one is called UTF-8. You've seen many uh, skeleton HTML documents with that, okay, on top in the meta field. As a matter of fact, let me see if our Bootstrap, not this one, but our header has it. As you can see that it says the character set is UTF-8. So this lets the browser know, hey, listen, I want you to use this character set. There are many different character sets, but this one is the most common one. It has a bunch of characters. When we are sending data to our database, we want to be able to insert UTF-8 character sets in there because there's this character set has a bunch of different characters that are non-English. If you speak another language or want other languages to be included in your database. As a matter of fact, I think we already have that here somewhere. As you can see, we are setting the this UTF-8. Okay, I believe there is another function to do this, but we are doing this before we are actually connecting to the database. So we are setting that. We're putting that in the query. Okay, we can believe there is set chart set or something like that. Um, but there are different ways of doing it. That's one way of doing it. Let's actually come back here and we can just Google it real quick. Set char set MySQL PHP, and it's going to give you information how to do that. They're receiving a function to do that. Okay, as you can see right here. Okay, and you can just type in MySQLi, and that's going to show you how to do it with that API character set. Okay, as you can see, you can use a function or you can even include it inside your query somehow with typing in the inside the MySQL. Okay, UTF-8. See that? So set names UTF-8. Default character set. As you can see, there are a couple ways of doing it. But anyway, so what we are going to be doing here, let's go down here. When we send an email, this email is not going to have by default this character set of UTF. It's not going to. So for example, if I send something in the body that is in Spanish, and I thought I had something in Spanish somewhere. Let me, you might be thinking, don't you write Spanish, Edwin? All right, so you can see we got some character sets here. Little things on top of the words. So let's go and send that and see how it looks in our application. Let's refresh this. Coding faculty and enter. And now let's go to our mailbox right here. Click here, and as you can see, that looks pretty bad, right? And that's something very similar to what you're gonna get in your database, okay? So how we can solve that? Super simple. We need to set up this property. Let's call this mail. Well, actually, that's the name of a chart set. And now we pass this string here to say UTF-8, and that's it. Now, when we send an email, and if I can get my document back, that would be very helpful. Let's actually get that here. There we go. Sometimes I get carried away, guys. Okay, go in faculty. As you can see, we got the email here, and now everything works correctly. So that's one thing that I wanted to show you in this video. Another thing that I wanted to show you is that to include classes automatically with Composer. Okay, Composer has an auto load app function that will auto load all the classes in your application. Instead of, every time we go to one of our files, we need to come manually here and require it, right? What if we can just require one function here and we require all our classes automatically? That would be awesome, right? So that's what Composer does, but we have to actually go to the composer.json. Now let me tell you something about this. And let's say a project like a Node.js, um, in an application like Node.js, we have a package.json file, and this is every time you see a .json file is to set up configurations for that program. So the package.json in the case of Node.js is for package management, just like Composer. Composer is a package management. So you give some information, some documentation, and then you define your dependencies. This is what the JSON, those majority of JSON files are when it comes to JavaScript or PHP or any other application. We use JSON. JSON is a really good format to do that. But anyway, so what we need to do here is we need to set up another part here where we use that. So I'm gonna come down here. As a matter of fact, I'll do it below authors. I think that should be on top, right? And we are going to, this is a object here. Actually, let's set it up here. It doesn't matter. This is going to be called auto load, and this is something I'm not creating. This is already created. This is something that is already defined in the application. I'm just adding it. So class map, that's what it's called. And this is just going to be an array with the classes that we want to include. In this case, I want to include my classes folder. Okay. Now when we do this, okay, Composer is going to automatically add anything that's inside here. So if we create another class, and let's just create an example class. Okay. And example. Okay. And let's just, I don't know, let's just leave it like that. That's fine. So we have that class, and as a matter of fact, let's just create a function here. Display, and now all we have to do is we need to dump all that data, basically refresh Composer. We have to go to our terminal, whatever terminal you're using, open your terminal, either the Windows or the Mac or the Linux. Dump auto load, and let's optimize it. Enter. And now if we go to our forgot, we don't have to actually use this anymore. Let's see if everything works. Let's actually come here and remember the function that, let's come back here and test this real quick. I'm going to delete all that stuff. Make sure that you can get it back, okay? So get class mail. Let's see if we can get that class. Let's go here, go back. We are actually, oh, we're missing this. We don't do this because we're not using this anymore. We're using everything from Composer. So Composer has this function called Autoload that just makes everything work. So now enter here. Oops. Let's go back. Require vendor autoload. It should work. Let's dump autoload again. Let's refresh. I don't know why I'm getting that. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, it is working. Now, if I want to get the other class, and I can check that out too, example, and new example. We can come back here. I know I misspelled it, guys. I know that. Let's come back here and let's enter, and you can see that I get that class as well. So no more requiring because Composer is doing everything for us. Super cool stuff. So I'm just gonna undo all this. Oops, you know what? Dangerous, dangerous. Let's make sure that everything works. Okay. So let's go to the home page. Come back here. Of course. There we go. It looks like it worked. And as you can see, everything is working perfectly. Now you learn something really valuable, okay? Now every time you put a class inside this classes folder, Composer is going to map it. It's going to require that class. So that way, every time you want to use any classes that you have in this folder, all you have to do is include this file right here, this function, well, this file, autoload, and it will require all your classes. Pretty cool stuff. And remember that we also learned how to set this character set. I think it was a very good lesson for you guys. I hope you appreciate it. Don't fall asleep on the classes, okay? Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next lecture.